Hi, my name is Leanne Hadley. Welcome to Pieta, a spiritual movement of love and compassion towards ourselves, others, the earth, and all God's creatures. If you're a person who wants to increase your compassion towards others, this is a good place for you to start. We are on week 2 of a book called The Serviceberry by Robert Wall Kimmerer, and it's abundance and reciprocity in the natural world. And so as we go into the fall and we are gathering the fruits of all of our labor, and entering a time when it won't be so abundant, we thought this was a neat way to sort of explore what abundance means and where we find abundance in our own lives. And maybe we can carry some of that into the winter with us, just like a little squirrel or something hides its nuts and its acorns and uses that over the winter. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm going to light our candle to start with. And then, here we go. Let's take a breath and be present with one another. Hear now the Pieta prayer. Let me be in the world with nothing to prove, letting go of all expectations and judgment. May I give and receive compassion. May I care for others and receive their care. May I love deeply and receive love. May I be in the world with nothing to prove. May I be Pieta. So last week we focused on we're just barely making our way through this book. It is a small book. It's this thick. It is filled with lots and lots of things that we've got marked that we're going to explore in the next few weeks. Last week we just talked about this simple idea of abundance, and that everything is abundance. You know, trees are making apples and berries are growing, and we have an abundance in our lives of love and stuff like that. And we were talking about what stops us from noticing the abundance that we have. And so I hope that in this past week, you were able to spend some time in abundance and could really slow down enough to recognize the abundance that's around you. So anyway, I hope that went well for you. Tonight, we're going to keep moving through this book, and we're going to talk about what happens once you understand that abundance belongs to you, that you do have a life that's filled with lots of things. So I want to start with this quote on page 11, where Robin says, when you realize that everything is abundance, then you have to develop what they call a culture of gratitude, what the Native Americans called a culture of gratitude. And she said that if you have abundance and you aren't grateful for it, you dishonor the gift. So she says, for example, if you dishonor the beavers by taking too many of them, they will leave. And if you want corn and you take too much of it early in the season or when it's not ready, you're going to go hungry. So there's this balance between being abundant and having gratitude, having the abundance and being grateful for it. And then she says that, well, I'll just continue reading. She says that when you list everything that you have been given, all the things, the abundances in your life, if you list all the gifts that are yours, then there's a knowing that you already have what you need. And when we recognize that, it's called recognizing enoughness. And she says that is a radical act that is always urging us in an economy that is always urging us to consume more. Recognizing enoughness is a radical act in an economy that is always urging us to consume more. We live in an age where we are fed ads, suggestions of what we can buy. At the same time, we hear things about how aging is so terrible, so we got to get that aging cream, and we're always trying to keep up with the Joneses. We live in a consumeristic world, and when we realize that we have everything we need, really, abundance is ours, then we're able to feel a sense of enoughness. It's enough. We might not have as much as we want. We might not have all the things that we ever dreamed of, but we have enough. And there is nothing in the advertising world or in the world of making money off of us that would ever say to us, you have enough. So I guarantee that tennis shoe makers are never going to say, you have enough pairs of tennis shoes, stop buying them. Facial cream people are never going to say, you have enough of that. You've already got 15 jars. You don't need another one. You see, we're pushed to have more and more and more. And we truly believe that we need more because we don't have enough. Our scripture tonight is Jesus in Matthew 6:19 through 21. And in this passage it says, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where the moths and vermin do not destroy and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So Jesus is telling us that we have enough. He's really talking about enoughness. We don't need to store and store and store if we trust that more is coming, that we live in a world that brings us enough. There is enough. I love this quote in this book where she says, data tells the story that there are enough food calories on the planet for all 8 billion of us to be nourished. And yet we are starving because some people are hoarding and other people won't have enough. But if we trust that abundance is ours, we're going to be better able to share. So she goes on and says the first response to the receipt of gifts is gratitude. The second is reciprocity, to give a gift in return. This begins a cycle. So instead of us saying, I don't have enough, I need more, what we do is we make a list of everything we have and we say, I have enough. I have enough and I will have enough if everybody keeps sharing. And then you're grateful. I have enough, I'm grateful. And then you give something away. Out of it reminds me of another scripture, which is, my cup overflows. When you realize how full your cup truly is, then you're ready to overflow it to others. And she says, this begins a new way of being in the world. Rather than saying there isn't enough, there's only scarcity, I need to grab, keep. We say there is enough. And there truly is. There just isn't enough reciprocity. So we go first. We say, I have enough. And because I have enough, I can be generous with what I have. And we begin a cycle of generosity that gives back over and over and over again. That's what Jesus is talking about in this passage when Jesus says, do not store up for you treasures. They're going to rust. You're going to lose. That isn't how it works. Give the grain away so that it can be made into bread and can nourish others. And then see what happens. You know, when I read these words, I'm so trapped in this consumerism world that we live in. And I, like everybody else, I mean, we're all sure we don't have enough. I don't know if I'm going to have enough when I retire. I don't know if I'm going to have enough, of anything. And I think that where we need to start to move to this kind of thing of like, I have enough, now I can share it, is to make a list. So what I want us to do tonight is make a list of all the things that we have. What do you have in abundance? Make a list of all of those things and then spend some time saying, all right, I have all of this, and feel enoughness. And then ask yourself, what in all of this abundance can I give to somebody else? I have abundance. How can I give it away? And what's one thing you would be willing to give away? And why? All right, so first, make a list. What are you abundant in? It can be things, it can be emotions, it can be people. What is your list of abundance? And we're going to see who gets the longest list. And then I want you to think about, out of that abundance, what can you give away? What can you trust will come in droves to you so you can continue to give it away? It's like a river. The river will bring it, it flows through you, you give it away. What is it that the river has brought you in absolute abundance that you can share with others? let's spend some time thinking about that, and then come back together and you can discuss it. So thank you for being here tonight. That's our lesson for tonight. Enjoy the discussion, and I will see you very soon. If you'd like to learn more about Pieta or about myself, my name is Leanne Hadley. You can go to my website at leanne-hadley.com. Thanks for being here. Good night. I'll blow out our candle.